Hello everybody, a third video looking at the affordable Sanrenmu Chinese folders. What I had discussed already was first some knives that they make that are obviously quite inspired by Western brands. Then a video about pocket knives that they clearly, where you can see that this Chinese company is the outsourcing partner for some Western brands. Now let's have a look at some models which are clearly also, you could say, their own design, so that there is no other. I'm not aware of any analogy, you could say, or only superficial. I'm talking here in this video about two bigger knives. The next video we will show a few other new knife designs that they do of smaller knives. Here we talk about the 905. The brand here is called Land, but it's Sanrenmu. That's the 905. And the pretty awesome, I already say that up front, 939. Up front I tell you that these knives are going out of production. If I'm not mistaken, the reason is Chinese knife laws, which make it very difficult to carry anything longer than, I think, 70 millimeters or maybe 75 millimeters. So maximum 3 inches, probably 2.8. And these knives have both a blade of 85 millimeters long. So that's why Sanrenmu actually stops them, because these knives are not designed for export. Their export is usually what's outsourced to Western companies. These knives are for the Chinese market actually. They are very cheap, as always with Sanrenmu, around $8. Yet, as always with Sanrenmu, they are a lot nicer, well, especially this one, than what you would expect for the price. And it shows once again that mass production of knives is possible, because it's pretty simple technologically, you could say, to build a knife compared to building a car, you could say. So it's quite logical that if you put scale to it, that you can make decent mid-range knives at a really good price. Let me first have a closer look at the least interesting one, that one, before then we go to what is my for the climax, you could say, of the clip, to the more interesting one. The 905 is a classic big hunting folder, you could say. Well, 85 millimeter blade is a typical mid-range length. Blade just below 3 millimeter, I have the impression. Wooden handle, not so light, it's around 125 grams. An unfortunate kind of pivot that you need a specialist tool to adjust it. It will not be easy. In my opinion, it's a pretty thick liner lock, which seems to sit already quite a bit in the middle, but I have the impression with the thick blade here, and you can still move a bit, that it can handle somewhere. It does, but while I say it is an original model, it still, you could say, it still looks a bit like certain Valneven folders, the kind of blade, but it's only superficial. You could say the similarity. Steel liners, which are skeletonized at that side, so to keep the weight a bit under control. A pocket clip, which I believe does not really belong on such a more classic knife. I think it should be more a sheath knife, in my opinion. Nicely screwed, you could see the screws are nicely deep in the handle. I always like that. Otherwise, it doesn't inspire me that much. Look here, the blade, the gaps between the blade and the handle could have been a bit tighter. This doesn't feel really luxurious. So, all in all, yes, it's definitely worth the money. It has also the typical 8CR13 MOV steel, like the other one, typical Chinese steel. But in general, yes, it is quite okay. It does look quite nice. It opens smoothly enough, probably on Teflon, but it's not really inspiring, I would say. So that was the 905. Now this one. This one, I urge you to hurry to find one for sale before they're all gone. Also around, you could say, between $8 and $10. It's a bit heavier, around 140 grams, because of the handle also being in stainless steel. It's a frame lock, nicely adjusted, and and nicely springy. It doesn't stick, by the way, when you want to open the lock again. Notice the big curly thumb studs, which are very nice for opening. They are not as sharp small points that some blades have. Some holes everywhere, gives a kind of an amusing planets kind of look, but you could say yes, it also makes it a bit lighter. All the holes are nicely drilled, by the way. I've seen of a YouTube friend, his Boker Trans, which also had holes, and they were really horribly done. This is nice. The clip is a bit overdone. Look here, it science fiction like forms, you could say, but okay, that's quite good. Now what is cool about this knife, this is an interesting outdoor food prep folder. That's what interested me. I here notice quite a bit of jimping also on the handle, and then here on the lock, so you really hold it quite closely. Of course, what you have with steel handles is if it's really cold, then it's not so pleasant in the hand. But so sheepfoot knives, being not so threatening already, it's purely slicing, it's not for prying. The gentle sweep, gentle belly here are really good for food prep. So that's what attracted me, and you can see historically I did a lot of cooking with the awesome Opinel 12. Look, by my current setting it barely fits on the screen. It's an Opinel you really should try. It's a very sturdy Opinel with quite a big blade. And it is really nice for outdoor cooking and for salads and tomatoes, because of its flat grind, actually a bit convex to be precise. It slices very well, but what you have with this Opinel form, you do a lot of the cutting here, because that's where you attack, so to a second, with this first part of the blade, that's where you attack, so to speak. And this one actually, this last part usually sees a bit less cutting action when it comes to food prep, at least for me. But so in general I use that quite a bit. Then I thought, well, for something more modern, the fantastic looking Anso folder from the Rock Lobster from Spyderco. I thought, well, this could be the ultimate outdoor cooking food prep folder. You know, Spyderco being high-tech, totally perfect fit and finish, high performance. Unfortunately, and I mentioned that already in my video about this, I still think that it still does not fit perfectly in the hand, and especially it's because of this annoyingly sharp edge angle here. Look where my finger is. This finger never sits good, or you put it a bit like this to the back, or you try to squeeze 3 in here. It never. So the best is that you put your 2 fingers here with this sharp edge in between, but it's never fitted totally nicely in my hand, while otherwise it has everything to please. If they would make this a bit more gentle here, this area, with the fact the liner lock from the Spyderco Military, so you know it's rock solid. But it's so that's why I have to say the humble Sanrenmu, $8. You can buy 20 of them for the price of the Anso. Is actually better in the hand. And yes, indeed, the steel is less high-end, but for food it doesn't matter that much actually. It is true, however, that the Rock Lobster's blade is a bit longer, so that bit of extra reach, it can be useful for food. The thickness is roughly similar, it's around 3 mm. And this one, it's a flat edge, flat grind, which usually Sanrenmus are usually hollow grind, but this is flat, like the Spyderco is. So this is really a nice folder. Now these days I also do a lot of outdoor cooking with relatively thin fixed blades, which are always easier to clean. But it is nice to have a folder with you in your backpack. Well, it's always nice, and with a form like this, it's good for cooking. That's my special recommendation. Notice the nice snap it makes when the lock turns into place. Really a special blade. Sandblasted also here, the color of the blade, so quite unassuming and good. Well, with this I end my 3rd video on the affordable Sanrenmu knives. two bigger ones, original designs. The 905, which didn't, classic hunting folder you could say, not bad, but didn't inspire me that much, and especially the 939, lovely thing, which I urge you to check out. I actually bought a second one already for a birthday gift. They are very good for that. For this price, you don't even feel that you're giving something, and yet it's something useful and pretty. Good, feel free to leave feedback.